Evidence has shown that there is potentially a significant amount of private sector land that could be bought, and any properties built on this land will be required to meet the current development quality requirements. Now, the review group was clear that it was possible to reduce bureaucracy by streamlining certain consent processes. I will be issuing on the 3rd of October, a consultation on a revised general consent order that will streamline the practice on Section 9 disposals and eliminate the need for most of the individual consents. A new fast-track process for physical adaptation grants was introduced earlier this year to clear the backlog, and the feedback that I've received is that it's been very successful. However, one of my early priorities is to end individual scheme scrutiny and evolve the power and process where it makes most sense to place it in line with the recommendations from the Essex report. Now, since the report was launched in June, we've seen the credit crisis deepen further, and on the 2nd of September, English ministers announced a package of measures to respond to the problems in the housing market. Well, I've also taken steps to help people in Wales. In July, I announced a mortgage rescue package which has an initial £5 million available on a first-come, first-served basis. This is paid as normal grant to housing associations, but in a very simplified basis so the support can be timely, and if this funding proves insufficient, we can make more available. On first-time buyers, I've introduced our own scheme, which was launched last year. It's being piloted with £500,000 available through local authorities as part of their renewal area work. The money is an indirect rather than an equity subsidy, as it supports work on energy efficiency on the property rather than on the purchase. I believe that home buy should be reintroduced in Wales, but I could not justify continuing to make allocations to the last scheme as it was not achieving our objectives. However, I will be consulting on a new home buy product this October, and I would be interested in hearing your views on being able to offer a more flexible approach to home buy for all tenants in the future. Now, arising from the downturn in the housing market, the private sector has offered housing associations the opportunity of purchasing completed units, units under construction and land. Now, this is a very exciting development, and the 6 Welsh Housing Consortium have provided details of the various opportunities across Wales. Under consideration are 450 completed units, 1,000 units currently under construction, and a further 4,000 potential units that would be available from the sale of land. I'm looking to progress this as quickly as possible, but we must ensure that in looking at short-term solutions, we do not forget that affordable housing must be in the right place and meets needs if we are to support the building and the maintenance of sustainable communities. And I'm currently talking to Andrew Davies, the Minister for Finance and Public Service Delivery, to see how we could increase the resources available to us now to meet the real challenges of the housing market. I've also been asked to say something about my early priorities, and I've already mentioned a few, including implementing the interim recommendations of the review, new home buy scheme, and responding further to the housing market crisis. To this, I would add changing the social housing grant process, including tariff, to help us deliver on our promises, a new regulatory framework for housing associations, and real progress on releasing Welsh Assembly government land for development, as mentioned by Aled earlier on. Of course, our work on affordable housing is part of our wider role to ensure that people in Wales can secure quality homes. And the National Housing Strategy, currently in development, will set out a vision for the years ahead, which recognises the need to work across the whole housing market to achieve the outcomes we want, and it will reflect the key messages of the Essex report. We are all aware of how global forces can affect the housing market, and we need to be able to respond. The review has recommended how we can achieve that but that very volatility means in taking forward the significant changes recommended in the report, we must make sure that those changes are still relevant and will deliver real outcomes on the ground. And just in closing, I would give my thanks to Sue Essex, Peter Williams and Bob Smith for their work. The Essex report offers no panacea, but it does set out a path and a direction for the future. The difficult work of implementation comes next.